Hey guys, it's Cthulthu here. Today's the 5th of July 2011, and yeah, today Jagex released an update. You know what? I'm going to not make a special update video, but I am going to do the quest as part of the vlog because yeah, what I've been told is, well, even though it's quite pointless for me, there's no real reason to complete it apart from thinking about the completionist cape. There is apparently it is a funny quest, so that's really the only reason I'm going to be doing this quest today. So yeah, I'm going to get underway. I'm going to be using RuneScape Wiki, seeing as it seems to be the only site that has a full guide. Whether that guide will actually be decent, who knows? But yeah, I'm going to try using the RS Wiki guide, and hopefully it's decent. So here I start. Okay guys, so I've completed the quest now, and I've got to say, it had its funny sides, but it also had an extremely dark side to it, which was fantastic actually. I mean, I've always thought of this game as a kid's game, and that's because I actually started playing at the age of, I think, 12. So yeah, I mean, I was playing, my friends were playing, and we were all 12, so I've always thought of this as a kid's game, and as I grew older, 15, 16, 17, kind of felt like, I'm too old to be playing this game. But nowadays, that's probably the average age of the players of this game, if not more, actually. You know what? I think the average age is probably around 20 nowadays. I know at least a lot of 20-year-olds. Hell, we all probably know at least one 50, 60-year-old playing this game. And yeah, I've always thought of this game as a kid's game, but Jagex have been taking a darker and darker route to their storylines recently, and I'm loving it. Basically, for example, only about a month ago we had the whole Fremnik saga thing, and that had a dark story to it where we were killing this guy's family, and now this guy was looking for revenge because somehow he had managed to survive the slaughter. And now he was looking for revenge by killing everyone in the dungeon that had killed his brothers and whatever else. And yeah, that was a nice dark story. And this ended with darkness. Basically, it was like a light, funny story, and then suddenly you get whacked right at the end by this dark story. And basically, I'll show you the dialogue at the end of this video, but basically what you learn is the woman that's being used as a host, she's now an extremely old woman, and but then you find out, when she becomes herself, when she's not talking on behalf of the slug as its host, she's like, where's my daddy? I can't see where's my daddy. And suddenly everybody realizes, this person was obviously abducted as a child, and she's been thinking that everything she's been going through has been a dream. She's still got the mindset of a child, and yet she's probably the age of 60 to 70, and yeah, a very dark way to end a story that, it wasn't dark at all throughout the story. I mean, even in the previous quests, so then suddenly throw it on you right at the end. I think that's always, I think that's a good way for Jagex to be ending these stories. Hopefully we see more darker themes in the future, because to be honest, that's what this game should really all be about. I mean, it's kind of like a medieval game, right? I mean, I think of it as a medieval game simply because we have swords and dragons and all that. And yeah, I mean, we need a bit of darker storylines, and we've got it really in the last couple of months. So what else is there to mention? So a funny part of the quest that I especially enjoyed was the whole hex hunt scene. So basically, you got a random dungeoneer getting a hex hunt bow, celebrating, and then suddenly my own team comes into that dungeon by blowing up the side wall, and yeah, the wall collapses onto the person, and I'm guessing they're dead. They don't get to have their hex hunt bow, unfortunately. So I thought that was very, very funny. So yeah, you know what, actually, I think that was actually the funniest part. One thing that I have to mention is, like I said, I was going to use a guide. I actually found that sometimes it would just be better to think for yourself and do whatever seemed most sensible, because sometimes reading the guide and understanding it and doing it step by step takes more out of you, takes more time than just going in and thinking about it yourself and just doing whatever you think needs to be done. So yeah, I actually think using a guide and having to read all the instructions is actually a disadvantage. So yeah, that's all that I really need to say about the quest. The rewards were probably average, well, actually probably above average for most people. Fortunately, the only thing that I got that I wanted was 5k Dungeoneering experience. Also, you get that whole ammunition reward. I don't quite get it, but I don't quite care either. I've never had a problem with how much ammunition I've been able to bind to myself. Last thing I need to mention is that whole toolkit, the Dwarf Army axe, I think, obviously named after the Swiss Army knife. And yeah, I thought that's a great introduction, but let's face it, it's an introduction for the new players. I certainly won't find any use for it. I mean, I liked seeing that I could cut with it with an axe. I could use it as an axe, and then I could use that same tool as a tinderbox, but obviously that axe is the level of a bronze axe. So normally I would obviously have my own dragon axe, and then I would have to have that tinderbox separately, 2 items, and the same would go for, you know, this dwarf army knife, a dwarf army axe rather, unless you want to, what do you call it? You actually use a bronze axe. So yeah, an update for lower levels. That's why I'm not going to really mention it that much past that. So thank you for watching, guys, and until next time, see you around.